Welcome back to the fourth segment, and with me a very special guest, Miss Yap Shin Siang, or better known as Shin, the managing partner of YYC Auditors. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for making some time to actually come here to explain to us or decode what this GST is all about. That's going to be happening in April next year, 2015, and we are bracing for that to come on, because we were just asking a lot from ourselves, from a business point of view. How does it affect our business? Because we're still paying sales tax, we're still paying government tax. If I earn 500,000 and above a single month, would I be still eligible for the GST? And all these kind of things. Now, let's go on to the first question, and we would like to know, how does the GST benefit SMEs? Because as of today, we've been paying a lot of taxes. There's, just wondering, right? Why am I paying 6% in this particular restaurant? Then I go to this restaurant, I'm not paying 6%, and then I go to this hotel, I'm paying 6%, and then I go to another hotel, I'm not paying that 6%. So maybe you can decode a little bit first. How can SMEs actually benefit from the implementation of the GST?
Okay. Sure. In the first place, GST will replace the existing sales and services tax.
Okay.
So that would be no longer in place. And as long as the business is more than 500,000, everyone, every SME or every business would be required to charge GST.
Right.
So unlike existing, whereby certain industries such as the manufacturing as well as the services industry is subject to GST, is subject to sales and services tax, come GST, as long as you're above the threshold, you have to start start charging GST.
Okay.
Yeah.
We understand from the point of view that the government makes the money. Okay, fine. That we leave aside. But in terms of passing the buck from the SMEs to the end consumers, does it actually? Okay, you see, as a person, as a business, it's only liable and it's only right to be passing the buck down.
Yeah.
But already I'm paying for the GSTs that the distributors and the manufacturers that are supplying.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is, if you look at it in the end whole, the customers or consumers are actually paying for all three.
Yeah, there is a public misconception about this, because GST, there is output tax as well as input tax.
Correct.
So therefore, when, let's say you are a distributor, you would, when you buy from your manufacturer, you'll be paying 6% GST.
Correct.
But you're able to contra that against the output tax you charge to your customers.
Right.
So therefore, it's the net that you need to pay to customs, and at every level, it's being passed on, but you can claim back the input tax. And finally, it's only the consumers who pay the GST.
Right.
So, but the public, there is a misconception that when manufacturer sells to distributor 6%, distributor to retailer 6%, and then all the way 18%.
Correct.
But that's not true, because at every level, you even though you charge, you can still claim back the 6% as input tax.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, so end of the day, 6% is paid from the retailer's point of view to the customs, right? I'm sure you heard about the customs that are trying to computerize this payment system through the POS system that's set up at every retail outlet. Now, how's that going to be easier for SMEs? Would that actually take a chunk out of them, or would that be sending them a bill at the end of the month to be paying the GST?
Yeah. If your business is more than 5 million a year in sales, then you have to be paying monthly.
Correct.
And that submission is done by the SME themselves or by the businesses themselves. It's not automatically deducted. For those businesses below 5 million but above the threshold, they'll be paying on a quarterly basis. So therefore, at the end of the next month of each quarter, only they compute how much is output they have collected, as well as how much is input they have suffered. They knock it off. The balance they pay to customs.
Right.
Yeah.
And the challenges that SME will be facing implementing this, I'm sure they're going to look at things where businesses go slow down. A lot of things will be a little bit more expensive already. And would that actually have an effect on inflation?
Yeah. In all countries who has implemented GST, there is definitely a one-time inflation.
Right.
Yeah. You cannot run away from that. Because in the Malaysia GST structure, there's three types of tax. First is the standard rated, whereby it's 6% flat. And the second is zero rated. It's for the basic food structure, basic food supplies,
the one that's exempted
exports,
from
that's called zero rated. You can still claim the input tax. And the third type is exempted, whereby you cannot claim the input tax and you also don't charge GST at the same time. So for these sectors, such as hospitals, residential property, they cannot charge GST, but at the same time they cannot claim input tax, so it becomes a cost to them. So for these sectors, definitely the prices would go up, because as a business they would probably pass the cost to the end users.
Correct.
So if people say there won't be any inflation, that's not true. To a certain extent, that there definitely would be inflation.
Right. So with all this being slowed down, right, how do you see us growing? You know, it's 2015, you know, there's another 5 years to high income nation. How do you see us growing from there to, you know, you see, as it is, without the GST, businesses, I'm sure some of your clients have already suffered a drop in sales from January and February, not only because of the Chinese New Year, but you know, in all, everything is going up, from assessment rates to electricity to water to this and that. Everything will be different. But next year, it's not going to be much of a change. For example, if you heard us on the news this morning, you're looking at 6% increase. That's what the guys are asking for, a 6% increase. But a 6% in spending as well will be going out come March, which means that you're actually balancing. There's not much difference from next year and this year. You know what I mean, right? Yeah. So how would this actually there's going to be a backfiring towards SMEs. Now, do you have any suggestions or any plans on how to, you know, make this balance up or something like that?
Yeah, the thing is, seems like everything is coming at the same time.
Exactly.
All around the same time, and but we do need to implement GST in the sense that our country, we've been in a deficit position for too long.
Yeah,
a long time. We continue.
51 or 54%, I cannot remember already.
This is the 15 year. So, but if we continue, definitely the rakyat would also suffer. So it's inevitable that GST will be introduced. It's sooner or later. So if we take the pain next year, there is a lot of preparation work that needs to be carried out. And the thing is, we find through a lot of workshops that we've been going, we've been around the town to explain what is GST. Malaysians always do things last minute, and we suggest that for SMEs as well as businesses, don't wait until last minute, because there's a lot of things you have to start preparing now. And if you do that only next year, I think a lot of people will be caught.
You wanna list down like certain things that you know that these guys need to look at?
Sure. First of all, there's a misconception that GST only involves the finance department. You know, you finance accounts, you take care of GST for me. But actually it involves all departments like marketing. How are you going to talk to your customers to make sure that they will pay you the 6%? So what if they don't? Your company would have to absorb, and it will hit the bottom line. And second, how about your suppliers? Is it better to buy from suppliers who are registered or suppliers who are not? And do you buy more, do you stock up before GST or do you stock up after? The public thinks, a lot of people think it's better to stock up before, but not necessarily so. Because when you buy after, you can claim back as input tax. This is for businesses. For consumers, it's a different story. For consumers, go buy before GST.
Go buy and you know, you have this, you know, crazy politicians going out there and telling people, you gotta get married this year before April, because a lot of things are gonna go up after April. Come your hotel, come your restaurant, your everything is going to go up after April. Now, what would that affect in terms of? Okay, let's not look at small companies. Let's look at TMB. Okay. TMB, we all know they've already increased their prices by what, 20, 25, 26% maybe. Come GST, that company is going to be, you know, spending a little bit more, you know, in terms of their net income and all that. Now, would that pass that down to the consumers?
Okay, that's a good question, because in fact, certain industries, they do have some savings. Because those who are paying sales tax at the moment, they are paying 10% sales tax, for example. Come GST is 6%, and at the same time, you can claim it back as input tax. We will need to go into the details of each company, whether there's any savings, but for businesses, the question is, will they pass the savings to the consumers? You know, that's the million-dollar question.
Yeah, which is the 4% difference between would it be passed on, because certain companies make that kind of profit, right?
Yes.
There are also things that are under the GST that will be actually exempted? You mind sharing with us the essentials that I think 10 essentials, if I'm not mistaken, that the government promised this one for sure don't have GST. You want to share with us a little bit about that?
That one is called the zero-rated items.
The zero-rated items.
So like the vegetables, the fruit, not fruits. Fruits is standard rated.
Okay.
Okay. So rice, sugar, flour, meat, fish, seafood. Those are.
Sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
So if you go to the supermarket and you buy all these things, it's zero rated. That means no GST. But if it's processed, that means, let's say, marinated or cooked, then there will be GST.
Pre-prepared will be.
If it's processed lah.
Okay. Now, so let's say, let's decode this as a consumer.
Sure.
Okay, we walk into any departmental store today. Let's say we are buying a soft drink or drink, and then you have your little raw items and all that. End of the day, the POS system will not like minus off whatever that's on top. They will just total under there GST.
No. The POS system would need to distinguish which are zero rated, which ones are standard rated. So like you said just now, soft drinks is standard rated.
Correct.
Like chicken is zero rated. So the POS system would need to be able to separate out, and actually it's a requirement for them to do it.
Right.
They cannot simply charge, like supermarkets, they cannot
you know
simply
what I mean,
charge.
right?
I know. So you would need to go and check your bills.
Right. And see that we want to decode these for you out there so that you understand how this goes. So end of the day, I think big companies, they are of course major departmental store players here in Malaysia. Of course, you don't have to actually buy from them. You can actually buy from the markets and all that. But what I want to look at is also the rise of petroleum costs next year as well, right? You already know that the government is going to charge this additional. Now, from my calculation of my what I see, there's going to be a rise of 10 to 15% next year. Not only 6 is basically what the government takes home, but the additional 6 to maybe 8% is for your inflation. Things that will go up next year, and of course certain businesses will be passing a lot of costs down as cost rises. Now as a consumer, right, maybe you I don't know, what do you think that what we can do around it? Maybe we can bulk it up, buy, and then share among each other or something like, I don't know. I'm just asking because end of the day, if you pay in a group, of course it will be lesser than you pay as a person individually, right?
Yeah, I think we need to, as consumers, be very wise on our spending. That's number one. And number two, it's also very important that we make sure that businesses don't simply charge. Yes, I do understand your concern, but inflation is one matter, GST is another. It shouldn't go up to 12%,
Right.
So the government is also talking about a shopper's guide, whereby they'll come up with a list and before GST and after GST prices. So I would urge all consumers to be more wary when it comes next year. Don't let the businesses or some just profiteering business people profit unnecessarily, and we suffer in the end. So I would urge that we all, of course, prices will go up, but definitely we need to be more smart about our buying. And if there is such cases whereby we see that the prices after GST is exorbitant, then we should take a role to inform, like the trade consumers department and things like that,
and
or put it online,
I understand with your experience, and with you being in this industry for quite some time already. What do you think about enforcement of these particular rules? GST for sure is going to be implemented. What I'm talking about is how are you, as a company, ensure that maybe do you guys know how the authorities are actually going to ensure that businesses or SMEs are going to comply to what they are doing? Because see, in Malaysia, we are great at setting up this and that, but enforcement, it comes to that, there are certain, mishaps here and there. I'm not saying that we are not all perfect, right? We can't be perfect, but we can try to be at our very best. What do you think that the enforcement will be like? How's the steps by the customs department to be actually trying to get this right?
Yeah. So first of all, we at YYC, we take it on a personal mission to go and educate the public.
Okay.
Because especially businesses. Because if businesses are not educated, most of them have this perception that is 18%.
Right.
We don't want them to simply charge.
Right.
So from now we are already doing that, and we're asking them to all plan ahead. And when GST comes, there will be definitely serious businessmen who are serious about GST and they're looking forward to it. But there will be those who may take opportunity. For example, there may be those who charge and never submit anything to the customs.
Correct.
So that is the major concern by everybody, and which is why you say enforcement is so important. So customs will be going out to audit, just like the way Inland Revenue audits companies now. So customs will be going out to audit, and of course we really urge also customs to take a very strict role in this, or else in the end the government suffers and the consumer suffers as well.
And my question would be, would the custom be in any way working with the LHDN? Because these guys are, they're auditing your, every April, is it May they will, every time they'll look into your taxation and this and that, right? Don't you think that maybe these two departments could merge, or somehow reduce the manpower of going to audit each and every one, and just consolidate and find out this, it's a certain goal,
Yeah. In certain countries, GST is under Inland Revenue as well, but in countries like UK, it's still under customs. So there is already a talk of a merger, something along those lines, whereby they would want to work together, but maybe it's not so immediate lah. And the thing is, if customs and Inland Revenue works together, definitely there's efficiency in that sense.
Exactly, and we hope to see that the customs implementing the POS system for the retail outlets, as we all know that retail outlets, end of the day, are the ones that are collecting the taxes for the government, right? They make everybody their tax collector. End of the day, it's easier for them to manage as well, because then you will know this particular person doesn't fraud, doesn't this, doesn't that, and there's no cheating going on. But how do you see this kind of thing implemented? I mean, how long? Because 2015 is just a year from now, and I don't think even the education, that education thing that's not happening with teachers. It's been so many years, but with this. How long do you think that we as businesses and also people that are paying for taxes and all that make sure and ensures that it goes into the government coffers?
Yes. So like you said, GST for businesses, each and every level from manufacturers all the way down will be collecting on behalf of the government. So for businesses, we urge that when you have new suppliers, make sure they are really GST registrants, and you can actually go to the customs website to check, because each and every business will be given a GST number.
Right.
So it's unique to your business. So make sure that they are valid, and even for consumers, you can also go and check whether they are valid registered GST
retrievable via the customs website.
Yes. Okay. But of course, we foresee over the next 2-3 years there will be teething problems, and
we are very sure.
and surprisingly, even countries like Singapore, even until now, there are businesses who claim what they shouldn't be claiming, like certain input tax they claim wrongly. So definitely, I think we will be taking some time to So
if you want to find out a little bit more, of course you can go onto the customs webpage where you can read up. I think they have a very specific micro website full with information for you to read, with animations, with pictures, and with all those kind of easy to understand materials for you to get to know a little bit more about our GST that's going to be happening by the 15th of April. Sorry, by April 2015. Yeah. Also, thank you very much for coming in, Miss Yap, to talk. Shin.
It's fine.
To come in and talk to us about GST and getting to know. Maybe what we can do is that we can actually break it down into little modules and segments, and we will retry this again before it's implemented come December or January, before it's implemented again. Yeah.
Yes.
We would like to invite you again maybe in the future, right?
Great.
So just to decode it. Thank you very much for watching Friday's edition of Bernama TV, Bernama Today. We got a Malay news up next right here on Bernama TV.